Shang Chi made me realize I'm allergic to Marvel films. Or Marvel Disney. What do I mean? Four things. One, there's a Lilo and Stitch uh m- points in this film that I dislike so much. They had to do it, obviously. They needed something to add levity to the film, make it more family friendly. I'm guessing like for the little kiddies, this wouldn't be, if it kept being serious all the way through, wouldn't be appealing. And that's not Marvel's formula. First and foremost, it's not Marvel's formula to be consistently serious all the way through, with some exceptions to the rule, arguably. Yeah, there's this scene in this movie. This made me realize that I really prefer consistent, serious tone, and the MCU is not in the business of doing that because they know what works. They know families are gonna put them in seats. Kids, little kids, they want something that to them feels mature, but can still have kiddish moments, adventure moments, and that's what I meant by this film. Felt very a Lilo and Stitch at one point. By the way, it's a non-spoiler review. Second thing, second dislike with this movie: certain actors being wasted. Certain actors were wasted in this movie, in my opinion. There's something very 2003 about a certain choice they did with in this film. It's very 2003. That's the only way I can describe it. And you would think that the MCU would have learned its lesson from the past blunders and creative choices they've made. Movies like Age of Ultron, both. That character, that film, many people in that film and certain directions they go with them. I'm trying to think of so many. there's an obvious example to name one of the Iron Man films, but I don't want to go there because far. Spoilers. It's not spoilers. Don't worry. Um, so many other examples. Thanos to me personally, in an Infinity War and Endgame, his power set. Josh Brolin, interesting. His take on it, interesting as far as the acting. I do not like that brother at all. And I had to remind myself again, watching this film, that that's how they work, you know? The jokes, certain creative choices, uh, plot armor, power downs, power ups. Did I mention the comedy? There's always going to be something that makes me cringe a little bit and will stop me from investing all the way with Marvel or the MCU specifically. But the silver lining is it's helping me understand what I like about film, about fantasy cinema and storytelling, especially. That really helps actually. The more I've matured over the years as a Marvel MCU fan, MCU viewer, I'll say, not MCU fan anymore, to be honest. Um, okay, how much Chinese is spoken in this film is another gripe I have with this film. I actually don't think that's a bad thing. Plot twist is a good thing. The reason it upsets me is because of what I started to think about leaving the cinema, and even just now before I filmed the review and I was writing notes. Black Panther, guys, it was seen as an incredible cultural moment, diversity, representation, all that, all those jargon words that people use to look cool with their friends. People buying out cinemas, watching it multiple times. Compare this movie, people are speaking Chinese at least half of the time to people. Even when they don't necessarily have to because people know English, speaking Chinese. Chinese people speaking Chinese. Imagine that. Compared to a movie that was considered such a big cultural statement, such a big, great look for the history of representation in Western media. that is meant to inspire a movie like Shang-Chi to be made. And it's specifically about set in, albeit a fictional country, but a country that for thousands of years, no one else has conquered that land. Again, as a film, the majority of it is spent in that country, not around people whose first tongue is English. And they're speaking mostly English in that film. Think about that. Think about what Hollywood is trying to say. People have gone on about that film, how much they love it, how amazing it is. Fair enough, there's so many other reasons to like it. Personally, don't care for it. But I'm willing to concede that there are great things about the movie, good things about the movie, from as far as many people are concerned, and objectively speaking. But I just think about Ryan Coogler talking to a radio host called Ebro. Just type in Ryan Coogler Ebro interview. He talks about the reason why I'm butchering that. I apologize. A certain language named after the tribe of the same name from South Africa. They chose that language specifically for the Wakandan language. He talks about visiting this certain region in South Africa, how this certain enclave, this tribe, they've never been conquered. They live in the isolated region. He even designed the border tribe, if you remember from Black Panther, their cloaks that were like blue and gold and black. If anyone remembers, just take a picture on Google Images, border tribe, Black Panther. They do some move where they do like this and they wrap their cloaks around them and then like a big hologram shield goes up. Stuff like that, you put the due diligence in, but people are speaking English. I want people to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not just whining for the sake of it. Why would they speak English, my guy? Why? Why are you pretending like you like minorities? This is the point I'm trying to get at. If you have more incentive comparing this to Shang-Chi to appeal to the Chinese market and box office, that's fine. That's, if you're honest about that, I don't give a flying toss. It's fine. But to pretend like you care, like you keep the same energy, and I see stealthy ways which you don't, but you've trained people and the majority to think that you do. This is that type of shit. Black Superman film. What kind of dumb shit am I thinking about? A Black Superman film. But that's a whole other conversation. The point being that comparing that to Shang-Chi, it's clear that even the CG in this movie, there are things that Hollywood will not keep the same energy to, and it shows that generally speaking, they think of minorities the same way. When I watched the episode of Malcolm in the Middle growing up, people would see, like, there's a certain episode where people were bringing animals to school for show and tell. That's how people see minorities in the industry. I can't prove it for a fact. I feel it. It's little shit like that that F's with me. The good things, it's not, believe it or not, it's not me hating on the cultural, one of the good things. It's very noticeable compared to a movie like Black Panther, which is meant to be the mother of modern diverse, cringe, diverse types of films in the industry. No, and you can't make a man speak that language when that's their native tongue. The only person, Killmonger, Everett Ross, couple characters, 99% of the film and 99% of the characters had no excuse to do that. Dumb in my opinion. That was a mini rant. And then the last reason why I realized I'm allergic to Marvel Disney, the action felt too clean. Movies are painting to me, in my opinion. Good story is needed as well, definitely. But movies aren't good to me unless I have visuals too that tell a story to me. That's why I like certain action films so much. That's why I like films like Blade Runner. So looking at it is stunning to me visually. Shang Chi, the character, they stylize his fighting based on an homage to my favorite martial artist on screen ever. I won't go into what I'm the person specifically who I'm talking about. The gist is it's meant to emphasize stakes. The way this character fights is meant to emphasize stakes in every situation. And yeah, I'm very aware of the PG rating because what's the point of feeling a blow, feeling a hit, feeling a punch? If I don't know the kind of damage you can take, if I can't see no little blood here and there, I get it, man. It's Disney. I get it. Come on, be a little more, a little more to it. Pees me off, man. Like I don't understand if Shang-Chi can he get tired? Like what's the point of styling your fight skills after that if you don't have it's long, man. But believe it or not, all those things I dislike, those four things, the Lilo and Stitch stuff, wasted actors, my point about representation, like it feels like double standards, and the action, the too clean action. All those things, I mentioned them because it's important to get those out of the way and recognize the good in this movie that was existed more. But I had to talk about those things and dedicate a non-spoiler review to that first because it's just me trying to explain to you guys why in the future I'm not gonna mess with MCU projects as much. I'm looking forward to the Moon Knight movie because I want it to be, in the way I've criticized this movie, I want it to be the opposite of that. There's a part of this movie that reminds me of Lord of the Rings a tiny bit. In a good way. But there's something that stops it from being all the way that. And I like a lot of things in this movie. Simu Liu or Shang Chi, the character Shang Chi. I like that they fight fast in this movie. You can tell they are trained. I like the camera work in this movie. Good. Tony Leung, love him. Great. Infernal Affairs, I reviewed it on this channel. He's fire, regardless. Michelle Yeoh, I don't know her name. She plays Shang-Chi's sister. Love those characters. I love the respect they put on the culture. But those things have to be pointed out, those critiques, because they show you the kind of mentality I have going into these films. How I want something more for like modern fantasy and modern. But I'm accepting more and more that I don't have to look to Marvel. There's still a part of me that hopes, otherwise I wouldn't watch these films and I wouldn't be slightly invested. But I'm not, gone are the days when I am a certain level of invested. Not anymore. I'm not even reviewing. There's Marvel projects that I'm not even watching. Shout out to Josh if you're watching, but yeah, I'm gonna skip all of that stuff because I know what I like, and I know that if I watch something like Loki, as much as I've heard good reviews, something like Hawkeye, as much as I like the idea of ground-based action, it's gonna be things that I have to acknowledge. Like in Loki, this double standard of whatever Time Police gets on him for running away with the Tesseract, being a variant, whatever they're called, all that shit in Endgame with the Avengers, and you don't say nada. That's just the tip of the iceberg. The plot armor, double standards. I'm not about that life. That's why I'm doing this review, and that's why I'm talking about this. It's important for you guys to understand what's going on up here when I'm watching the MCU. This is my filter to you, not to be confused with the shitty filter on this camera. But I'll let you guys decide down below. What do you think of this movie, guys? Do you think I should do a spoiler review and talk about the positives that I like about this movie? Because I can go in depth about that, but it's important for me to give my thoughts on this movie through the critiques. And just to explain, like I said, how I filter Marvel MCU projects through my eyes, Marvel Disney through my eyes, and why I've become jaded with it over the past couple of years. Tell me your thoughts down below. If you like this video, press that thumbs up button. And don't forget, lastly, that sub button, subscribe. Don't be shy. It's right there. Click. Other than that, guys, signing off. Salute.